And I believe we are live. Welcome, world. This is Monica King. I from InnovatorsBox. I am super excited to have you here right now. Thank you all for joining live as I, do an impromptu little mini message. I just wanted to say thank you all so much for your positivity, your support to creating the space that we have together. And just wanted to take a moment to test this out and also get to know all of you. So in the past few weeks, as we've been building out at InnovatorsBox some videos, I've been learning a lot as well about how I can create tools for all of you. But I've been really curious to learn more about what are things that you would love to see more, and what are areas that we can provide more so that we can help you as a leader about what you can do with creativity in the workplace, what you can do to stay courageous, and what you can do to think about how you tackle unexpected situations as what's happening right now in the world. And so I hope that this YouTube space is an area where you can dive a little bit more in. And for those who are joining in, please send comments, say hello. I hope you are able to enjoy and taking a moment to kind of acknowledge a couple of things. And so today I want to first say thank you. Share a couple thoughts about, what do you do when you wake up at 4 a.m. or, how you turn into data. Ask any questions you have so that I can relate back, okay? Okay, let's get started. So I want to first talk about feeling this right now a little bit. It's been about 6 weeks in the United States since we've been in quarantine. And, I know a lot of us are kind of in a midst of a haze. I just got off probably another call. I've been talking to over about 100 people in the past month and a half. Thank you all very much, both for those who have interviewed and talked with me to share your stories on Curiosity Channel, as well as just getting a chance to connect. It's been really humbling to learn where you are, what you are going through, and just acknowledging so that we share this time together. And because our headspace is turning crazy misty, what I hope we take a moment to acknowledge is, how do we get out of here and finding more peace, whether it's like finding peace of feeling like we're at a beach almost, or taking a moment and think about, what brings me calm and space to it. And so I asked for to think about, how are you and where are you right now? Take a moment to breathe. Including myself, I would say this is not where I thought we were going to be about a month and a half ago. I've started kicking off these video plans and interview plans to share with all of you with some different thoughts. And over time, I realized there are certain topics that could probably dive a little bit deeper to be of help to you. And part of it is being forgiving, knowing that there are aspects where we won't know until we go through it, whether it's also getting a chance to do this and many others. And so I just want to acknowledge, take a moment, I hope this weekend, to sit back and say, how are you? Where are you? And how can we be okay with where we are, knowing that the uncertainty ahead is unknown? I know we are in a culture and society where we like to get to know everything as much as possible. We like to know the solutions. We like to know how we can solve it. It is a bit of a control freak moment. And how do we have the courage to just put things on our palm and just let it be where it is and be still with it? For me, actually, that actually connects to my question of, what do I do when I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning? Because that's actually honestly what I've been going through. I now realize maybe perhaps in my anxiousness unconsciously, I've been waking up in the middle of the night quite often, and leading to me being tired through a little bit of the day. And that probably impacts many of our decision making, but also in the way we think about things. And I had to realize that me stressing out about that I didn't sleep enough is not actually going to help me make space. I need to make pace with that. So actually now what I do when I wake up, when my mind is up in the 4 a.m., I actually just start looking at my phone, ideate, write down all the ideas that come to mind. I actually often wake up from the middle of a dream where I might either get scared off or was inspired by something, and then I jot it down, and then like I eat, or sometimes binge watch shows too. And then after that, I like go back to sleep. And I found that actually doing that has given me peace and being less stressed out about waking up in the middle of the night. And so something that I want to share with you, wherever you are in what you're seeing that you're not happening the way you hope, how do you reframe your mindset around it, as a leader, as a person, so that you make space and peace with it. um, I want to then take that moment to think about my little thank you note, because with all your support, I've been learning a lot about what you're hearing and what I'm hearing that you want to dig deeper into. And so, yes, there's a lot of misnotion about what creativity is, which was the whole reason why I started Innovators Box, to debunk what it means to be creative in the workplace. And no, it is not just about arts, though I do love arts very much. It's about, thinking about how we can be limitless with not letting whatever box we have be defining who he is. So whether it's the marketer, whether you are in procurement, whether you are in a certain role, how do you not let that limit who you are and be a better, fuller version? And so to thank you, I am keep upgrading so that I keep thinking about ways, how do I make you learning about that aspect is easier? Um, Knowing that we are in the midst of change that is happening and continues to grow, my hope is that everything that we continue to do is still honoring what we did, why we created what we do, which is helping you think forward, helping your team stay with courage, and putting things into perspective. So whether you're here with me as my friend, or a fan, or a parent, or a leader, or a student, an entrepreneur, I'm thinking of all of you to think about, how do I help you think more courageously, creatively, to think about the 5-20 years ahead of you and make decisions into perspective right now. Because this is a moment like that, right? We are making decisions where it's going to have ripple effects. And that's kind of scary to think about it, as well as humbling. And so the lesson I want to leave with you on that thing, as you think about, how to turn creativity to data points, is making into concrete things that make sense for you. So one thing that I like to think about is being creative actually being in a creative mindset is being able to think in the long-term goal, instead of short-term gain. And so instead of me creating things that I just feel in the spur, at times I do that. How do I think about what the long-term implication can be? Right now, everyone is going through policy changes, team changes. You're seeing your life change. And I ask for you to think about, as you're making those shifts, as you're creating new rules, as you are building new routines, what are things that you can do to make your life easier, to build small wins, and add that to your long-term thinking. Because we're here for the marathon. This is not going to be over in a few weeks with COVID-19, unfortunately. And I hope that, especially for all Innovators Box fans, I have helped you think about how you're not just thinking about the next few days or few weeks, but really push yourself with creativity, how to think about the next few years ahead. Educators, I've already heard that many of you are already on the move, rethinking and acknowledging that, students coming to school is going to be different. So this is a great time to invest and innovate how you teach and how you ignite your students. Business owners, the way now you build relationships, it's going to be very different. How are you going to do that? Students right now, you might have been expecting a certain aspect about what you thought you wanted to do for your business. It's going to be very different. And that all being said, all of us will not know what is coming ahead, just like this infinity pool behind me. But what I hope you realize is, with long-term thinking, by breaking things down and putting things into perspective, we can walk with gratitude about where we are. And so the 3 things that I hope that you can think more into perspectives for this weekend is, how do I make space to acknowledge where I am and be in peace with it? How do I practice gratitude? And what can I do to have the courage to keep staying curious about long-term thinking, wondering what it would mean, and wondering what I can do right now to make a difference in improving where I want to be in the future? And that leads me to my little thank you and some updates on my side is that I want to continue to help all of you. And so I wanted to get a little sneak peek into some of the projects that we are building at InnovatorsBox for all of you. And I want to hear your live thoughts. I do want to be intentional about knowing how things are changing fast. I'm being mindful about how do we make sure we create things for all of you that is helpful and helping you keep staying forward. So first thing is, as you think about the mindset is, I'm excited that I'm going to give it a try next week. So for those who are here, you are now going to be informed of it. Isn't starting next week, I am going to do my creative show live shows on YouTube like this, because I want to be able to reach to more communities. I want to hear your questions. And so this is hopefully a chance where you can even test out, say a little hello and ask your questions. And while you think about that, I'll give you a little show list of all my upcoming guests already that have confirmed, which I'm super psyched about. And I hope you have some questions to ask, which is, I'm going to have Julie Smith next Monday. She's a great coach and a friend of mine in London. And we're going to talk about, what's the danger of jumping into problem solving too fast and what we can do as leaders to be more mindful and what are things you want to learn. Put the questions here and we'll keep in mind. On Tuesday, I'm going to have my friend Cam Adder from Game Quitters founder, who also helps people around the world how to quit games. But what I want to dig a little bit deeper is there perhaps a chance we can learn more positively about games and, what can we make the use most out of it right now, connecting those dots with it. Third is I'm going to have also Kim Bryden, who is the founder of Curata, and she is going to share insights about supply chain so that we can think more thoughtfully about what we can do with it. And then I am also going to have my friend Corey, who's going to talk about tech policy the following week and why empathy and tech is so important. Next, I'm going to have Tawana, Dr. Tawana, almost a doctor. She's finishing up her PhD and an amazing coach, an amazing friend of mine as well, who's going to talk about the importance of, how can we think more as a thoughtful leader in this time of crisis and what are coaching skills that we can bring in. And what I wanted to highlight through these, and then Eric, super excited to have him. He's going to talk about how entrepreneurs can think more wisely about moments like this and dive deeper. I'm excited about introducing these individuals and communities to you through the Creativity Show, because what I hope you recognize is that to be creative, to be a better leader, you have to expand your horizon of the people you surround with. You have to stay curious about all these different industries, to have the eye and interest to see, I wonder what my learning in food and supply chain is going to impact the way I do procurement. I wonder how that impacts the way I make decisions as a leader. I wonder how that impacts HR. Because as we see from COVID-19 as an example, the world is very connected. And again, whether you were a student, an executive leader, an individual, or an entrepreneur, what I hope to show is that being creative as a leader means that you have the eye, the curiosity, and the courage to want to understand these completely different worlds and connect the dots in different ways. And so I want to make sure this is an intentional time we dive deeper into, whether it's that you recognizing that waking up middle of the night and you don't know what to do with it, or trying to figure out how do I use creativity and make that into data and make it quantitative, or are you thinking about, how do I even make sense of it when I'm kind of unsure about everything? Everything is connected and impacts one another. And so as you get to the weekend, I know this was an impromptu Friday night. I didn't really give much warning up because I just was not planning and I wasn't sure. So thank you all for those who are here right now and watching later. But I hope you think about, how can I keep more in mind what everything I do might impact in the next 5-10 years? What's something that I would regret if I don't do now? And what are small wins that I can start celebrating? So 3 questions, all centered around mindset, and the reminder of hoping you realize why I've been kind of taking a bit of an unorthodox way. And thank you again for helping me reach my amazing milestone of 100+ followers. And so again, I'll leave you a note on this. Be courageous, creative, and find peace in all of those aspects. And so thank you all for tuning in, for this impromptu moment. I hope this gave you some positivity and note. Let me know what you want to see more. Maybe other things that we should spice up, and look forward to seeing you again. So have a wonderful weekend. Stay courageous, creative, and I will see you next week.